I think Lane has a very unique experience in the SEC where he's been all over, and so I don't think it's as important as it was for Brian Kelly to make the right moves. Like Brian Kelly was very influenced by the outside noise. And this was something that I was kind of worried about with, not that it was an option, but we can dream for a few weeks in this coaching search that a Kenny Dillingham, right? What if we got him to LSU? My only concern would have been a young guy like Kenny Dillingham coming to LSU. He's going to have a lot of guys chirping at him. Like there's a lot of influence at LSU by people who think they know what they're talking about, right? Oh, you've got to keep this guy on staff, or you have to go, hire this high school coach because you're going to get this player in the next few years, right? I don't think Lane's just going to lean in on all of that. I think he's smarter than that, and he's got his guys. He also has Ed Orgeron in his back pocket if he needs it, right?
Yes.
And so that's a guy that I think he will kind of lean on, whether it's an on-field position or somebody he brings in as an analyst to recruit. I'm not sure. I do think there is going offensively. Yes, they're going to clean house offensively. They kind of already have. Defensively, it's very tricky because they did turn a corner defensively the past 2 seasons. It wasn't amazing, but it was certainly massive progress from year to year to year, right? You look back 3 years ago, you look back at the Jaden Daniels season, and you have one of the best offenses we've seen, and the defense was the worst statistically ever in the history of our program. Baker comes in the next year a little bit better. This year, you see the preparation that they put in for Clemson, right? Shut them down, right? There's no complimentary football, though. So a lot of Blake Baker's defense was exposed due to being on the field the entire time, right? And like they weren't elite, they were good enough, paired with a good offense, could have done the job. And so I think it's a weird situation because Baker is a very, very young, talented defensive coordinator that the other pieces around him are going to fall into place if he stays. Kevin Peoples is a guy that is our defensive end coach. He was his coach with him at Missouri. So we brought Baker and Peoples together from Missouri. You lose Baker, you lose Peoples. Kyle Williams, the defensive line coach, right? If we bring Ed back, does that mean Kyle Williams is gone? Corey Raymond is the defensive back coach, great recruiter, right? The DBU guy. He got DJ Pickett to come from Florida, and he's kind of reestablishing that theme again of a dominant defensive backfield after they've been terrible the years before. Because Brian Kelly fired Corey Raymond the minute he got the job and then backtracked and brought him back on staff. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm reading stuff every hour and it changes. I think the biggest thing that's come out today, though, that is a bad rumor, and I don't know if it is true or not. Frank Wilson is our interim coach. We love Frank, right? I think, and Frank worked with him at Tennessee. Lane wants to bring his running back coach very badly. He really likes his running back coach. Frank does not want to go into a position where he's not on the field. And I think Frank is a recruiter at heart. And a lot of times you put your recruiters at like a running back position, right? Our rotation at running back hasn't been great. He is your New Orleans recruiter, right? He's a former St. Aug coach. He's got all the plugs at Carr. Like he's the guy. So that's a line that Lane has to walk very delicately, right? And I think today there was some talk of Frank being upset because he's going to probably bring in his running backs coach. He already brought in his receivers coach. So, Frank's not going to coach that. Frank was his wide receivers coach at Tennessee. So like you can plug and play Frank all over the place, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a single position that you're an expert at, you're really just a recruiter. And I think he doesn't want to be that. And I think it has a little bit to do with, hey, I'm the interim head coach right now. And, right. I thought I had a chance at the job type of thing. I'm not just going to go in the back office and lock down New Orleans for you. That's a big domino that you could see. If that falls, that'll be very interesting with recruiting, right? We talked about Kenny Secure, Louisiana. Frank's a huge piece of that. But is Lane going to be like, I'm thinking bigger picture here? I'm not worried about one person, right? Defensive line wise, do you bring Ed back? You'll lose Kyle Williams. Kyle's a guy that was obviously a player for us in the Saban years. He's been coaching in high school, and big time player for the Bills, et cetera. Dips his toes in college this year for one season. Kind of has a bad taste in his mouth, right? Of like, do I really want to stick this out? So I think there's going to be a lot of staff shakeups. I think the entire offensive staff from Ole Miss is pretty much coming to LSU. Defensively, I think if you can keep Baker, you keep most of the defense intact. The big curveballs, the dominoes. Does he keep Corey Raymond as the DB coach, and can he keep Frank Wilson? And that's yet to be seen.